Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yo, what's going on, Xbox and YouTube? Now, today we are here to talk about the RollerCoaster Tycoon World stuttering problem. Now, I basically have been trying to troubleshoot this problem all day and trying to figure out what is making this problem start and what makes it get worse. Now, the one thing that I can tell you right away is the same thing that I've been saying throughout all of my RollerCoaster Tycoon World videos is there is something going on with the optimization for the peeps within the park, because even after filling this entire park with literally almost every roller coaster in the game, before I even opened the park, everything ran pretty smoothly. We were hovering around 56 to 60 frames depending how far you were looking into the map. So to me, that is quite acceptable and very playable, and I was 100% fine with that. But just like before, the minute you open your park and start to allow the peeps to fill into your park, they automatically start causing the frame rate to drop, sometimes by 5 and sometimes by even 20 frames. But it's not a consistent frame rate drop, so it doesn't consistently stay at 40 frames after you have let people in. It goes from 60 to 40 to 50, so basically we have a horrible stuttering issue, which you can see throughout the entire video of this park. Now, the stuttering issue just tends to get worse and worse as you allow more and more people into your park. And it can get worse just by building more and more roller coasters, but that seems to put less of a hit on the overall system. Now, I don't know if it's completely the peeps' fault. It could be the very fact that once you open your park, all of the rides begin to move and all of the roller coasters begin to move, so maybe there's just too much going on the screen, which is somewhat acceptable. But when I lower the game down to its lowest graphical settings, everything is on its lowest setting aside from the atropic filtering, or however you pronounce that. That's the only thing that I have on, and I have shadows on, far, and a few other things turned down. But as far as the detail and the resolution, I have them at the lowest settings that I can run them on my computer, and I still get the same problem. Now, the problem is less noticeable as you lower your settings. But the bottom line is, if you spend $2,000 on a computer, you should be able to run the game at its lowest setting without having a problem, regardless of it being in early access or not. So that is my biggest issue with this game. But overall, it has been a lot of fun building this entire park. But it just bothers me that I can't actually play the part of the game that I enjoy the most, which is allowing the peeps within my park, so that way I can watch them, ride the coasters and basically play the game and slowly build my park up from bare bones to the most immaculate park you could ever see. Now, I don't really feel like wasting all of my time building a really nice park when I can't even open the park and enjoy it with all of the people within the park. So this entire video is dedicated to the peep stuttering problem, and I just really wanted to show you guys how the game stutters, and maybe somebody in this video's comment section can let me know if this is happening to you and if you've noticed something that maybe I haven't. But overall, I can tell you there are tons of issues still with just the peeps themselves. The free cams are completely messed up. Like if you go from being within free cam and then you go into a peep first person cam, well, the little notification that basically allows you to exit the camera on the bottom of the screen tends to stay there. Now, we still have that same draw distance problem as well, with flickering shadows, frame rates going up and down depending upon whether or not you are in free cam or not. The roller coaster cameras work a lot better as far as the frame rate goes, but we still have tons of stuttering within just riding the roller coasters. And some of the roller coaster cameras, I believe the inverted coaster or the stand-up roller coasters cameras, are completely messed up after the last update number 5. And it's just overall seems like a big mess. And it is so hard to try to figure out what is wrong with one particular part in the game when other parts of the game are also giving you problems. So it's very hard to pinpoint what is causing the stuttering to happen. And I really believe that they need to spend way more time optimizing the peeps within this game and trying to figure out why they cause the game to stutter. Because last time I checked, as you guys can see, it's not like the peeps are at all of a high fidelity, and it doesn't seem like it would require much processing power to simply have them walking around the park and doing what they do. So that is a big deal to me, and that bothers me a lot, and I really wish they would at least acknowledge this either on their Twitter or their next live stream, because Invisio Creations is kind of making me wonder, are they really checking out what the community is saying about the problems within the game? Because I have not seen anybody really acknowledge any of the problems that I have shown you guys on my channel, yet the problems I'm showing you are probably the most game impacting, and they really break the immersion within the game, because in real life it doesn't stutter. So the only real way for me to actually properly test this game out and actually figure out a better way to make the park, or figure out what is going wrong with the park, is to have less of these bugs and glitches in the game, because there are just too many things going on to pinpoint the problem. And a lot of people within the RollerCoaster Tycoon World forums have been expressing their anger and frustration with the optimization of this game, and it just really bothers me when they continue to add brand new content to the game and basically adding more problems to this game as they're trying to fix problems. So, like I said in my previous video, they need to worry less about adding new features and content to the game and more about just worrying on how the game is running. There are still a lot of things that were in the old RollerCoaster Tycoon games that are still not within the new one. And they're very, very little things, such as being able to open or close everything within the park all at once. Because, as you guys can see, I have tons of roller coasters in this park, and I had to open every one of them individually. So there is one really, really big problem. The other problem would be not being able to pick up your janitors or mechanics. So let's say your janitor is literally walking off into space. Well, in the older games, you could pick him up and put him back into a spot where he could be useful. And the same goes for the mechanics. If you find the mechanic walking way out into the middle of nowhere, you could pick him up and put him closer to the rides that he needs to be fixing. The other things with the janitors and the mechanics and with the entertainers was you could actually set and lay out a path for them. So you could take these little areas and basically select them, and this is the only area that that janitor or that mechanic or that mascot needs or has to cover. So that way you can break up your janitors and your mechanics and your mascots throughout the park much more evenly, because trying to play this game in anything other than sandbox just is a major drain on your time, and not to mention your in-game currency, because it is impossible to get the janitors or the mechanics to properly clean or fix the rides fast enough or efficiently enough. Therefore, you have to end up hiring more janitors, more mechanics, and that's just a drain on the money when you are trying to save and conserve money within the campaign of this game. So those are tons of problems. If you guys are going to fix any number crunching issues, I believe this would be where you would want to start. And just like the ability to select the areas for your mechanics or for your janitors, there are still tons of areas where you can't really select what is going on within the map. You can't put things in the proper places, and a lot of the smoothing and terrain effects in the new RollerCoaster Tycoon world do not work properly with the flat rides. So when you try to add a flat ride and then you try to add a lake or a little pond right next to it, it clearly doesn't want to work properly. Instead of undermining the current building, it just goes right up to the edge of the flat ride, and basically it just looks very unnatural. So there's another big problem. The next problem was within the older games that they had this feature, and it was a great feature, and it was the ability to basically tunnel underground with your roller coasters or your pathing systems. Now, if you were clever enough, you could actually build an entire park beneath your ground level park. And then you can, if you were even more clever, you could build a park beneath your underground park. And it just could go on from there. So that way, once you stack the entire ground floor level of your park, now you can go underground. So it's like you have 3 to 4 times the real estate as you do within RollerCoaster Tycoon World. And it's just a lot easier and way more creative, and it makes a lot of sense. Now, they say that this feature will be added within the future, but I just don't understand why that wasn't part of the very core of the game to begin with, because it seems like going underground or building tunnels would have been something you wanted to build right into the bare bones of the game. So I'm not really sure if we'll ever get tunneling systems within RollerCoaster Tycoon World, but that was a feature that everybody loved within the old RollerCoaster Tycoon games that you cannot do now. Same with water parks and same with pools and all of these other abilities. RollerCoaster Tycoon World is just lacking in so many areas, not to mention the optimization and the performance. So I haven't really seen where they have actually excelled with this game, other than they have excelled at basically making everything just barely work. So that is my opinion on this entire thing, and I really do hope to see some major improvements in the next update number 6. And I really hope we don't see anything to do with brand new content or features or anything along those lines. Like I said before, we have enough problems to worry about with the current state of the game without adding more problems to it. But with that being said, guys, if I've opened your perspective on the way parks work with the roller coasters and the Peep and stuttering issues within the game, and if you guys have noticed anything that I might have missed, please let me know in the comments below, and remember to like, subscribe, and comment for more, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.